without any notes, but it seems that my memory loss has kicked in a bit early, so apologies. Good evening and congratulations to all of you on the completion of your Duke of Edinburgh Awards. It is no mean feat to throw yourself into something like this while you're still at school, so truly, well done. To those of you who are about to accept your bronze certificates, don't give up there. The students who will follow you for their silver badges have all made it through, and if they can do it, then so can you. Silver boys and girls, you now have that extra something for your CV, if you know what that is yet, of course. If you don't, then may I suggest that you're not missing out quite yet. As for you special gold awardees, well, what can I say? You're all mad for a start. But you are also now part of an elite group of people who can say that they have that gold brooch pinned onto their blazers and suit jackets. Wherever you choose to go from here, I can assure you that people will always stop to ask you if that's a gold DofE badge on your coat. Or comment on how impressed they are that you completed such a grueling commitment, or on a few rare occasions, to suggest that there may be something intrinsically wrong with you to have put yourself through it. But no matter what their comments or questions, the fleck of gold you display on your chest is something that even those who didn't have the courage to do it themselves will recognise, and even if they don't like to admit, greatly admire. Now, as much as I'm sure you'd love me to go on singing your praises for the rest of my allocated time up here, and don't pretend that's not true, I was sitting in your place a few years ago, I'm afraid that you're going to have to put up with a little bit about me instead. My name is Francesca Edwards. I'm 21 years old, in my final year reading biomedical science at King's College London, where I have spent the last 2 years learning about all sorts of geeky things like what drugs you can add to a piece of guinea pig intestine to make it contract, or prodding a human brain pretending that I know something about neuroscience, or more recently, deciding that, looking back at the chaos I'd probably caused, the subject of my experiment should probably be me. Thereby, I have just booked myself into the human centrifuge to take readings on how fast I can spin before I pass out. Yes, I know what you're thinking, this girl is completely crazy. And you would be correct. As they say in science, the evidence doesn't lie, and if my previous statement about gold award correlating with not being completely sane is anything to go by, then I think that this badge on my jacket has just answered your question. In 2012, I sat where you are now, marched up to the stage a mere mortal, and when I walked back off, my teammates and I looked at each other, and without having to say a word, we all knew that we were absolute heroes. We had all completed bronze and silver awards, but for risk of repeating many tragic a bog story, I will delve only into the classic tale that was our gold Duke of Edinburgh. Being a mixed bag of ridiculously sporty to self-confessed couch potatoes, and skilled in everything from harp playing to babbling away in Italian, the physical and skills sections posed very different challenges for each of us, not least because we were attempting to do all of this while studying for our A-levels. Volunteering for 12 months saw most of us complaining till the cows came home before we started, but spending a few hours every week helping others and getting away from our own problems was incredibly rewarding. From leading Girl Guides to visiting nursing homes, we had the age spectrum covered. The last challenge that faced us before the great outdoors was the new test of a residential stay, where a shared activity must be undertaken with people who you've never met before, away from home for 5 days and 4 nights. For a few of you, I may have just sold the award as the ultimate way to get away from your parents, which is true. However, it is also a chance to learn about yourself, how to cope in an unknown environment with people who you may not get along with as well as your best buddies. The residential sets you up perfectly for the expedition, which would turn out to be one of the hardest things I had done at that point in my life, and something that many of my friends don't believe they will ever top with another feat. As a group, we decided to walk, and undertook 2 practice expeditions to Dartmoor and Exmoor National Parks. Yet it was our final expedition that would wear even the toughest of us down, leaving us with only the sort of memories that you can't help but laugh at when you look back at that time that you almost died. The location of this tortuous event was named as the Brecon Beacons. A quaint enough place, it's in Wales for crying out loud. the land of fluffy little lambs and leaky potato soup. What could possibly go wrong? Well, as we found out, quite a lot. Blisters as large as plums appeared on the back of our heels. We set our wild camp on fire whilst trying to be eco-friendly by burning our used toilet paper, only successfully managing to turn the surrounding grassland into the aftermath of an Australian bushfire. We attempted to leap across rushing rivers that even Greg Rutherford wouldn't have been able to jump over, completely ruining any ideas of walking in dry clothes. Things eventually turned so far south for us that at one point we found ourselves lost in an unknown valley with little idea of where we were on the map. Whilst two of us tried to orientate ourselves to find any sign of life that wasn't the lone cow on the mountain opposite us, three girls decided that rolling themselves 400 metres down the face of the hill was the only thing for it. And whilst they disappeared into the bleak, rainy and sub-freezing distance, a girl wearing a duck shower cap pulled out her penknife and begged her friend to end it all for her. I think it's fair to say we'd reached a low point. But Gold Duke of Edinburgh is meant to be tough. We may have taken it to a new level, but the idea of throwing yourselves in at the deep end, picking yourselves up, possibly slapping some sense into the lunatic girl crying in a yellow beak featuring a shower cap, and carrying on, is the spirit that embodies the awards. Despite having lived on freeze-dried chili and porridge for 4 days, and singing Tony Christie's "Is This the Way to Amarillo" enough times that it now provokes me to crawl up into a ball and weep, we all came out that much stronger for it. Luckily for us, we signed off in time to put the award on our UCAS forms for university applications. For every one of us who had an interview, without fail, our achievements during the award were mentioned. The 7 of us who completed Gold all went on to receive offers from our chosen universities and are all currently studying at institutions including Oxford, Cambridge, St Andrews, Bristol, Durham, and of course King's College London. The skills and attributes that I gained from completing the Duke of Edinburgh Awards followed me into university life too. After I received my offer from King's College London, I made a mental list of things that I wanted to do whilst I was there. The first thing on my list was to join the KCL rowing First 8 and win some kind of prestigious university boat race with them. Happily, I can say that my university hospital's boat race tankard is in pride of place at home. But rowing was something that I'd always done, and after challenging myself with Gold DofE, I wanted to push myself even further. So on the day of Fresher Fair, I wandered past a stand of undergraduates dressed in military flying suits. Curious, I walked over, and before I knew, I was coerced into an interview then and there. Despite not ever seeing myself in such a tough organisation, I was called back for the second round of formal interviews for the University of London Air Squadron. Duke of Edinburgh Awards were discussed at length. What were the toughest times? How did I overcome them? What had I spent my time volunteering for? Was I sporty? Did I have any particular skills? How did I balance work with the award? Before I knew it, I was no longer Miss Edwards, but an officer cadet. I was kitted out with all the service uniform, and soon I was learning to fly aeroplanes solo, canoeing and wild camping in Canada, marching 100 miles in 4 days, forming the Guard of Honour for Princess Anne, flying with the Prime Minister to Brussels, and breezing through the tough muddy course not once but twice in the space of a year, amongst many other challenges. Everything that I did was linked somehow to the person that my DofE award had made me. This summer, I was lucky enough to be chosen to complete a commissioning course at RAF Cranwell, the first step towards my new job aspiration as a full-time officer in Her Majesty's Royal Air Force. My journey from a shy young Notre Dame girl to striving for this career goal has been shaped by many things. My school, family and friends of course made me who I am today, but it is my Duke of Edinburgh award that pushed me that little bit further, opened doors to unexpected opportunities, giving me the capability to now lead others where before I may have followed. I have not a shadow of a doubt that my time completing Duke of Edinburgh has given me the extra attributes to have the confidence to do things that make great stories. Whether it be having the courage to speak to British astronaut Tim Peake in the International Space Station a few days ago, whilst a lecture hall full of my peers watched on, or having learnt the organisational skills to give a talk with an hour's notice, all the way to pushing through mile 40 on a march despite the medical tent exclaiming that my blisters were the worst they'd seen all year, and that a third layer of socks might just be able to soak up the blood. The mental and physical robustness that my Gold Duke of Edinburgh award left me with have led me on the path to throwing an aircraft around the sky and loop-the-loops with no one in the instructor's seat, and going back to sit in my lecture hall to learn about the cardiovascular system the very next day. The award has opened new horizons that I could never have dreamed of, and I know that it can do the same for every one of you here today. You are all here because you've either realised the potential of the award schemes, or you're open to realising that. I can only encourage you all not to be scared of taking that leap of faith. The scheme has given me the potential to realise who I never thought I could be. It has changed me for the better, and is why I'm standing on this stage tonight. Amongst you are the future astronauts, cancer research pioneers, Olympic swimmers, even the next Picasso. You might not have realised it yet, but you are giving yourselves the encouragement that you might not know you need by completing something amazing. Walk through swamps, push through the pain, face the challenge of not wearing makeup for 4 days. Don't give up until you've buried that last tent peg into the ground, and then step back and admire what you've achieved, because I can guarantee you that that tent will be even bigger and better than you ever thought it would be. Good luck with all of your futures, and please don't ever let yourselves be fooled into thinking that a girl who wore a duck shower cap out in public has achieved anything more than you can. Thank you.